Hi everyone. I'm back from my swimming course and I was hoping to go for a really nice walk today and it's raining because it's the UK and it always rains here. So today I did a little fast and quick painting instead this morning, and I did a bit of a foggy scene, so without any real detail. So there is a little bit of detail here in the trees and a tiny bit here at the end. But mainly I wanted to capture sort of the atmosphere and the fogginess of this sort of landscape. So I hope you join me in painting it. It's not going to take long, literally 10 minutes and we'll be done. And let's get started. So I'm going to be using my usual Archie's cold press paper, and this is in a portrait format today. I'm taking my 1-inch Harky brush and I'm wetting the whole of the page because we're going to get that nice misty effect by using Payne's Grey in a strong format at the top and bottom of the page, and then making it a little bit lighter and misty in the centre. So I'm using 5 colours and they're all granulating paints by Schmincke. So we're going to be using some Shire Olive, Shire Blue, Turner's Gelb, Pampas Yellow, and then quite a bit of Payne's Grey. So I've started off with the Payne's Grey on my wet paper, and I've used a darker mixture right at the top and then made it lighter as I've come down. I'm using my 1-inch flat brush. Oh no, sorry, my 3/4-inch flat brush, and it's great for doing large washes and covering large sections all at once. So just darkening up the top area because we want that to have the most colour, and then we're going to make it lighter in the centre. So just using small sweeps of the brush and then dabbing off bits of the paint onto my tissue. So this doesn't need to be fussy. This is just to get some colour onto the page and to get that nice foggy feel. So duplicating that in the bottom of the paper, we are going in with some nice strong Payne's Grey again at the bottom, and then making it lighter again as we come up towards where the horizon will be. So I've just dabbed off the paint from my brush and I'm using it just to sweep across in nice smooth movements, just so we have like a nice smooth graduation and it doesn't look too stripy. And then using some more of the Payne's Grey to darken up the bottom, just so it matches the top of the painting more, so it's a bit of a reflection. Now I want some very, very misty trees in the left-hand side of the painting. So really light, just taking a tiny bit of the Payne's Grey and using the corner of my brush and just dabbing it in. Nothing too strong because we want it to diffuse into the background, and then just darkening it up slightly. I'll also add in just a touch of one of our blues as well, so the Shire Blue, which has a little bit of a greeny bluey tinge to it, so it sits somewhere in between, and just adding that for a tiny bit of colour, and then also mirroring that underneath to create a little bit of a reflection there as well. So taking the Turner's Gelb, which is a nice bright yellow, I'm starting off with the tree section on the right. Now I'm starting off light, obviously, because we need to get our light values in first before we progress to the darker values. So just using the tip and the edge of the brush, I'm paddling in some of the colour, then taking our Shire Olive, which is a very light green, and starting to add that in as well. This is very loose, so it doesn't need to be we don't need to put the trees in detail. We need the suggestion of those trees because it is a little bit of a misty landscape. So taking a little bit more of the Shire Blue, making sure there's not too much paint on my brush. I'm starting off to put a tiny bit of a reflection underneath. So pulling that paint down. This is why the large flat brush is great. I mean, it's my favourite brush at the moment. I can get a really nice strong brush stroke, dragging the paint down without using. If I'd use a smaller brush or a round brush, then I'd be doing this for ages and it wouldn't be very neat. So the large flat brush is great. So we've got the suggestion there of our reflection. And then I'm just starting to add a little bit of darker colour to create some separation between both the reflections and what will be our trees above it. And then starting to build up a few darks at the base of the trees. Still using the large flat brush, it encourages looseness, so you don't have to be painting all of the tiny little details and the bushes. You can just be quite free and loose with it. So now taking my number 6 round brush, while the paint is still wet, this is going to diffuse a little bit. I'm putting in the suggestion of some branches and some trunks of trees. I like to do this while it's still wet because it'll give that nice, loose, soft feel to it. Because that's what we're going for today with our misty scene. And then taking a small liner brush, I'm just adding a little bit more detail. So I've sped this up a little bit because this takes a little bit of while. But using my number 6 round, I'm starting off to adding in some colour with the side of the brush, and I'm starting to dry brush it in. So I've used the Turner's Gelb, I'm now using some of the Pampas Yellow, and I'm just adding in little sections of colour, spreading them around, and using the side and the tip of my brush to give a really nice sort of speckled dry brush effect to it. And then darkening it up a little bit, so adding some of the green to the Pampas Yellow. Just varying the mixture each time, making sure that we don't have one single block of colour. And then adding some more darks as well at the bottom. So I did speed this up a little bit in that section, but really this painting didn't take me long at all. I wanted it to be a nice, quick study of a foggy lake. And I'm just adding in some more darks with Payne's Grey now. So we've added in most of our colours, we've added in our light values and our mid values, and now it's okay to put in the really dark values. And then going back to my liner brush, I just wanted to give a bit more definition to those branches and trunks, because the original ones we did had diffused quite a lot into the background. So I wanted to just add a bit more definition to these. And the liner brush is great for that. It's it's one of my favourites. A liner, a rigger, they're so springy and they give you such a nice little branch, but you have to be quite delicate. It's quite a light touch to them, which takes a bit of practice. And I'm quite heavy-handed, so I had to practice quite a bit. Then taking a really small synthetic flat brush. This has got really good, strong bristles, so it's great for lifting out paint. I've just got a little damp synthetic brush, and I'm pulling out some little highlights from our reflections. This just gives the impression of it being water, as though there's some ripples, etc., and it makes it a little bit more believable. So taking my number 6 round brush again, because it has a really nice tip to it, I'm painting in just the suggestion of some little posts, which could be like an old dock, or like some fences, some fence posts. And I'm just painting them in on the left-hand side where the landmass meets the water. And this just gives us a little bit of interest on the left-hand side of the painting. So adding a few more darks, still with my round brush. Just making sure there's some nice balance to the painting. And then taking some of the Pampas Yellow, I'm adding in a few little touches of colour, just because I don't want it to be one big block of dark. And then bringing those down slightly underneath. And I think that's us nearly finished. I didn't want to fiddle with this painting. I wanted it to be really quick, really loose, just giving the suggestion of a small miniature landscape with a misty feel to it. So there's the finished painting. So it's quite fast, quite loose. It has a nice misty feel to it. And I think sometimes those are the most satisfying paintings because you're not putting in too much effort. You're not making sure that it's all detailed and exact. You can just enjoy the painting process. So it's been lovely to have you today. And if you'd like to view any more of my videos, then please pop across to the channel. There's plenty there in the back catalogue now for you to have a look at. And thank you very much for joining me today. Bye for now.